Why is it taking so long to get the DNA evidence back from Mamta's house? Let's talk about it. I'm coming to you from outside of my doctor's office where they said I just have an unspecified virus, so nothing really they can do for me. So excuse all this. Okay, so first off, before I get into this, I do want to shout out this creator because he's doing a lot. I've tagged him in the description too, so you can go check it out. He's also local, also covering Mamta's case, but unlike me, he actually speaks Nepali. So if that's helpful for you, definitely go take a look at what he's been doing. So it's not strange at all that we don't know about the blood evidence yet in terms of the DNA results for a couple of reasons. One, they take several weeks to come back. Like, that's just normal. Now, I don't know the exact turnaround time for this particular lab because, trust, I did actually try to find out, but since I'm not connected to the case, they just told me to buzz off. But just to give you an example of how long it can take, I do want to point you toward this letter that was published a few years ago. Now, granted, this is back from 2018, but I still wanted to point it out just to let you know kind of how bad things were at one point in terms of DNA turnaround. So if you look at the top of this, it says as of January 1st, 2018, they had an average turnaround of 179 days. That's an incredible amount of time, and we're nowhere near that in this case. Now, like I said, I don't think the backlog is currently anywhere near that bad, and they probably do have the results back, but they're not really going to make it public. I think that that's something that's going to turn up in court. So, for instance, at Naresh's initial hearing, that's when we first heard about the fact that they had found blood evidence, both that was visible to the naked eye and using Blue Star technology. But by the time we got to his bond hearing, which, was the next week, we learned that the presumptive tests for blood came back positive. But they hadn't released that prior to the hearing, and they're not going to release that. So I think it could very well be the same thing with the DNA results. I think that there's a decent chance we could hear about it in tomorrow's discovery hearing. But they're not going to just come out and say anything. I think we really need to wait for hearings. So maybe this one on the 13th or perhaps the one on the 16th. If not, if it doesn't come out in either one of those, it might not be until the trial that we actually hear. Or when Naresh takes a plea deal, which is, my personal opinion as to what he's going to try to do. But that's a whole other topic.